Writers, welcome to today's lesson. We are going to be talking about personal narratives, which is the first type of writing we're going to be doing this year. Personal narratives, our goal with personal narratives today is I will be able to describe the parts of a personal narrative. So first off, what is a narrative? A narrative is a fancy word for a story. A personal narrative is a personal story. There are 6 parts to a personal narrative. First, most personal narratives are a small moment in time. 2, the sequential order of events. 3, vivid exact details. 4, strong emotions. And 5, dialogue. And 6, and most importantly, a reflective ending. So we're going to talk about each one. First, a small moment. Did the author pick a seed idea to write about instead of a watermelon? So if you picture in your mind a watermelon, watermelons are quite large and they can contain lots of little tiny seeds. So think of like a watermelon like your life. Your life represents the watermelon. And a moment would be one seed inside of your life. So one moment represents a seed. Now, some personal narratives contain multiple seeds, some only contain one. We want to make sure that we stay focused, so the less seeds that we include, the more focused and the more sense our story is going to make. Next, we need a sequential order of events. So sequential means that you're telling the events in the order that they happened. So did the author include a beginning, middle, and end? Did the author use transition words? Some transition words we're really used to are first, next, then, and last. Other story transition words include after, next, then, etc. Vivid exact details. This is a really important part of personal narratives. Did the author zoom on an important event and stretch them out? Did they tell you exactly what happened and make it really real so that you feel like you are there with them? Strong emotions. Did the author use words to let the reader know how he or she was feeling? When we read a personal narrative, most of the time we kind of step into that narrative and we feel very similar to how the author was feeling. And that means that the author did a really good job helping us feel and be a part of their story. Dialogue. Dialogue is super tricky. Dialogue is when two or more people are speaking to one another. So did the author use an appropriate amount of dialogue? Usually in a narrative, it's told in first person, which means it's from one person's point of view. So the dialogue is when that person is speaking to another person. Reflective ending. Did the author share what he or she learned or how the event changed him or her? Most of the times when we record a personal narrative, it's because that moment in time changed us or we learned something significant from it. And those are the 6 parts of a personal narrative. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to have you exit this video after I'm done explaining the activity. You're going to listen to the story Thank You, Mr. Falker by Patricia Polacco. As you listen to her personal narrative, keep in mind the parts of a personal narrative. After you listen, you will write about Polacco's story and how it shows the parts of a narrative. Now, this narrative is pretty long. It's about 18 minutes, but it's a wonderful story that I think each of us can relate to in a very personal way. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to type in what happened. Did she talk about a small moment? Were the events in order? Did she stretch out those moments and make you feel like you were there? Did you feel strong emotions? Was there speaking? Did the author balance explaining or get the setting and stuff with dialogue? And did the author share what he or she learned? Did Patricia Polacco share how the event changed him or her? Now keep in mind, as with all stories, not all stories will contain all of these things. So we want to see which ones did it contain? I can tell you right now, it does not contain all of these things. So you're going to want to watch out for which one did the author not use? And why did you think maybe that they chose to not necessarily ignore, but chose to not follow that part of a narrative? So keep in mind that you will, maybe one of the answers to these 6 questions is a no. And that is what we're going to be doing about personal narratives. I really hope you enjoy reading. Thank you, Mr. Falker, because I think it's a wonderful story that we can all relate to and learn from.